Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In the video for today, we are going to be discussing why a lot of you guys are getting wrecked on meme coins right now. And we are also going to be discussing how you can spot really bad charts and really just avoid a lot of the rugs and junk that's out there right now, because there is no shortage of it. When you're scrolling through Axiom, every once in a while, you're going to come across a token that looks like this, okay? This is the types of tokens that you need to be avoiding, and you really need to be able to just look at this chart and know right off the bat that this is not a good token to buy. I mean, just visually, this token's chart looks mangled and it looks unnatural and inorganic, and that should obviously be the first, sign. But again, if you watched my last video, I talked a lot about how you need to get in the habit of actually looking through the holders, top traders, and the actual trades that take place in all of these tokens. Another thing that you really need to pay attention to is the market caps, okay? This token is 34 minutes old. Do you guys really think that, this token, a portrait of the United States, is going to be at $120 million market cap? But okay, even if those, first few things don't make any sense to you, you really just need to be looking at the holders tab. And if you're on Axiom, it does a lot of the hard work for you, okay? You can see here that everybody in this token is essentially an insider. They all have the exact same balance in their Solana wallets, right? 0.1. And also, they're holding, 6 and 7 figures in these tokens. But, they're only making $300, $400 or losing $300, $400. So, when something looks fishy, it probably is. And before we go any further, I really want you guys to understand why this is happening right now in the meme coin space. And I wrote a very long community post here on my YouTube channel explaining exactly what's taking place right now in the meme coin space. But the TLDR of this is that launchpads, in my opinion, have really messed up a lot of the good things that were happening in this space. And the main reason for that is in the old days of meme coins, it was very difficult and very time consuming to actually launch a token, right? You couldn't just, click a few buttons and deploy your own token. You actually needed to develop a smart contract, which is not a thing anymore, okay? So people literally are just able to launch however many tokens they want with no real downside because, it doesn't take up a lot of their time. It's super easy to do. And if their token flops or they rug it, they can just make a new one literally a minute later, okay? This wasn't the case originally. They had to actually spend a lot of time developing these tokens. So that is one of the main reasons why right now the space is in a very weird place, and a lot of these new launches look like this, and they're really set up to hurt you beginners because you haven't understood fundamentally that the space now is a lot different than what it used to be. And that, in my opinion, is mainly due to these launchpads. Another thing that you guys might not fully understand is that, the launchpads are now incentivizing all of these people to launch more and more tokens because it is a core function of their business model. This is how these launchpads make money. They make money off of all the fees that happens with each of the transactions that take place on these tokens. So it's even harder than it used to be to actually find the right types of tokens to buy. If you haven't read this post yet, please do, because no other YouTuber or no other content creator in the crypto space is going to be telling you these things. But I genuinely want you guys to succeed. And if you don't understand that it's extremely easy for these scammers to launch tokens right now, then you aren't going to ever succeed in this space because you're going to keep falling for their tricks. But let's continue. Another thing that you guys need to get better about is not top lasting tokens, especially new launches, because almost every single one of these new launch charts end up looking very similar to their predecessors. If you look at basically any chart in the meme coin space, the same story basically happens every single time. There's a massive run up on the first day that these tokens launch. But, after the first day, these tokens normally go on a 50 to 80% discount from their all-time highs. That is when you guys really need to get in the habit of buying these tokens. Instead of chasing these green candles and trying to ride the wave up on their first day, you need to get in the habit of just being a little bit more patient and looking for good entries on these tokens. I could go through example after example of these tokens on the first day of their launch, but the story is basically the same every single time. And if you guys have been trading these tokens, you probably already know this, okay? Every single one of these tokens has a massive run up on their first day, but then a new coin steals its spotlight, or there's some brief FUD about the token or the team, or something happens, and there's a massive discount on the token the next day, or sometimes even just a few hours after the token launches. that is when you guys need to get in the habit of buying these tokens if you actually believe in them, okay? You need to approach every single purchase that you are considering making in the meme coin space with a risk versus reward lens. Do you ever want to risk a scenario where you have the potential to lose 80% of the value of a token that you're purchasing? I'm hoping and I'm assuming that you said no to that question. So if you want to avoid doing that, which I'm hoping most of you do, you should wait for the tokens to already be on a 60 to 80% discount so that you greatly reduce the chance of it happening to you, okay? Do not let FOMO get to you guys on the first day of these token launches, because I swear I could show you literally 100 different examples of a token dropping 40 to 80% after the first day that the token launches. And quite literally, most of them end up making new all-time highs after that crazy dip that happens in basically every one of these scenarios. So please just try to get in the habit of thinking rationally about the purchases that you're making in the moment that you are making them, which I know can be very difficult, especially in this space, and especially when you see your peers making a ton of money around you. But if you are the patient man, you will probably do better than them in most situations, because you are going to get an 80% discount from what they are buying their tokens at. And, if you hold them for the same amount of time that they do, you will end up doing much better. Another reason why a lot of you guys are getting wrecked right now in the meme coin space is because you're buying too many tokens. Like, you guys are on Axiom thinking that you can, just trade your way through all of this junk, but the reality of it is you simply are not able to, because there isn't enough liquidity in the space right now to support all of these tokens. As you can see in the new pairs section right here, there are hundreds of tokens launching every 10 minutes. Like, quite literally, there are probably 5 to 10 tokens that launch every minute. And just think about how many people are actually trading meme coins right now. It is impossible for all of these tokens to do well. So you really need to be selective in the tokens that you're buying, okay? And if you don't know what tokens to buy, that is why you really need to be watching some of my older videos to understand, how to do research, how to actually spot the right types of narratives, etc. I have all of these videos for you guys to understand what to actually look for. Another thing I'm noticing right now is that, again, the creativity in this space has really diminished. Like, there used to be a ton of original narratives, and basically if you bought any original token a few months back, you probably would have found a few X's on it just because it was new and, it was memeable and people could get behind it. But, a lot of these tokens that are launching right now are recycled narratives, and it's very hard for you guys to differentiate what could actually run versus what is just, basically a copy of another token that's already launched in the past, because you don't have that historical context. So what you guys really need to understand is that your eye isn't going to develop itself naturally. And what I mean by that is that you really have to actually be looking at these tokens' Twitters, and you really need to understand what is going on behind their community to have the actual potential to do well on a lot of these tokens. You can't really fake your way into becoming a good meme coin trader. You really need to immerse yourself with all of these tokens and understand what is working on these tokens if you actually want to succeed with other tokens. And look, I understand that if you're a beginner, it's overwhelming to do all that research and it's very time consuming. So that is why I put together my Discord community, which is 100% free to join. It always will be. There are people in here trading all day. You can ask questions to any of us. We will be happy to answer. And if you need a little more help than that, you can check out my Whoop community where I have my token watch list live for you guys. There are 53 tokens on this thing. So, check it out if you want to join. And if you guys are going to be joining the Whoop, please just use this link in my channel bio, because there are a lot of people who impersonate me and a lot of people who are trying to scam you guys. So please just use this link if you want to join it. And yet another resource that you guys can utilize to actually improve your trading and also just learn about this space more intimately is TradeFlow.fun. It is a paper trading meme coin platform. We are currently testing out the contest feature that we built for TradeFlow, which basically acts as like a poker tournament for meme coin trading. And you can enter contests, trade against your friends and anybody else who's in the contest. The top 3 traders are going to split a cash prize on each of these contests. So it's a great way to build up your portfolio risk-free and also learn how to trade. But that is going to wrap up the video for today, guys. As always, thanks so much for watching the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.